The Google hoax. Or not. Let's face it, these globalist corporations are arrogant and cannot be believed. So with a Photoshop and 3D graphics expert and also our tech consultant, we will do a in-depth look at the Mars base. Now some of the well-known alien investigators say that NASA may have slipped and did not remove the base from Google Mars. So Google covered it up by saying it was a hoax. By looking at the images, if it is fake, the creator is a master artist. Most likely not done in Photoshop, but in a 3D program like Autodesk or Blender, in order to get the shadows and textures right. And it would take a lots of work and time, and we all know that Google has the resources, but would they put that much work into a hoax? That's the real question. Now in a parallel story, a lady claiming to be a former NASA employee said she had seen humans on Mars. The woman, named Jackie, called into American radio station, Coast to Coast AM, with a confession that she had witnessed suited men running on the Red Planet in 1979. Jackie said she was working as part of a downstairs team downloading telemetry from a Viking lander when she saw the humans via live feed. According to Jackie, 6 other NASA workers saw the 2 humans walking on the Red Planet's surface. We ran upstairs, but they locked the door, and taped paper over the door so we couldn't see, she said. My question is, were they our guys? The Viking Mars mission was performed by 2 spacecraft, Viking 1 and Viking 2, launched within a couple of weeks of each other in the 1970s. Each spacecraft consisted of an orbiter and a lander, which traveled attached together for nearly a year to reach Mars orbit. The orbiters then began taking pictures of the Martian surface, from which a landing site was selected. The landers then separated from the orbiters and soft-landed. Now of course the story was called a conspiracy theory, but the truth is the government always denies anything that is not in line with their official storyline. Whether you believe this story or not, it adds an interesting twist: the possibility of secret missions to Mars. And if there really are people on Mars, then this may well be a real base. Let's take a closer look at the image. First of all, note the access roads. There are shortcuts. Would a graphic artist think to put these in? Note how the shadows are perfectly in line and the shadow's intensity is same with the craters around the base. But to be fair, a good artist can replicate this. The power station seems to have a cover on the ground. The edges have shadows. The electric lines are above ground and run into what looks like conduit on the roof. Here's something interesting. Look how the side of the roads have shadows, like if the roads were built up. By looking at these roads, it would take hours for someone to make the edges and shadow of these roads in Photoshop, or even longer in a 3D graphics program. This road between these 2 buildings seemed to be more heavily used than the other roads. Look at the side of the road. Here you can clearly see the drop on the side of the road and the shadows look totally real. You can even see a dip in the road. The above ground wiring leading to the satellite dish. Above ground wiring is more easy to install without heavy equipment, and easily serviceable in harsh environments. There is no access road to the satellite dish, and the ground is undisturbed, as if it was dropped into place. Let's look at the location. Deep inside a large crater and a flat area, most of the alleged moon bases and weird objects on the moon are in and around craters. These look like rovers, which would be parked in front of possibly the living quarters. A facility like this would mostly be automated and workers would mostly monitor the operations from a control room close to their living quarters. This appears to be a pumping station of water or possibly liquid fossil fuel or gas. possibly venting. For underground facilities. Note the reddish-brown areas on the roof, possible dust buildup. There appears to be dust buildup on the solar panels near the access road. This image is from the Google HOAX webpage. Let's take a closer look. In this image the building does not match any of the buildings from the Google Mars image. Note the shadow and the edge of the building here. This building is long. Now note the closest building from the Google Mars image. The side of the building has more features. This is the side of the building you would see. There are multiple edges. And the width of the building is too short. It seems strange that after going through so much detail on the Google Mars image, that they would throw in this image that does not match the Google Mars image. It could be that this picture was taken while the base was still in construction. Or it's another base. This image is also from the Google website from inside the building. It can go either way. But one thing interesting is who puts chairs in the hallway next to the windows unless you're looking out at Mars. In conclusion, we are leaning towards it's real. Partly from what we learned making this video and partly because knowing the elites that run Google in the world, they would not share this stuff with us, but keep it for themselves. We are useless eaters. In their sick minds,